Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Phil Risher, and on today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to hire and recruit top talent for your home service business with Paul Sanneman. Thanks so much for joining us today, Paul.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Paul is the owner of Contracting Staffing Source. He's actually been in the trades for 50 years.
Oh,
And
that makes me sound so old when you say that, Phil. Like, jeez. It's true, but I hate to admit it,
I was on Paul's podcast, and then we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, what exactly do you do?" And I'm like, "This is a huge issue that every single person has." And I'm like, "Come on my show and talk about your process." So,
Okay.
how did you get into the trades and contractors in general?
Well, many years ago, I'm so old, Phil, that when I started, contractors were still using pagers.
Okay, dot matrix printers and stuff
Right.
like that.
And then they went from pagers. I remember trying to get them to cell phones, and they went, cell phones are going to disturb my peace of mind in the truck.
Yeah,
And then I drug them through email, which was a fad, websites, which are a waste of time. Then I went through, went for it was like project management software, having that kind of stuff. They went, no, it would waste of
yeah,
time. My latest one is AI. It's the same problem.
yeah.
No offense, but contractors tend to be a little bit of Luddites when it comes to adopting new technology.
Yeah. So, were you a consultant, or how were you working with the trades? Like, what exactly were you
I've been
doing?
a coach.
A coach.
A
Okay.
coach. And I was really good at getting people, like a plumbing company, whatever, from 2 to 20 million. I was really good at that. And I did that for years and years.
Okay.
But the problem I had about 5 years ago, it occurred to me, I could get a company from 2 to 10 million, but it doesn't do any good if you can't find the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then, so what happened, I said, well, my first idea, Phil, was what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some research, find all the best software, applicant tracking systems, reassessments, all the best practices for recruiting and give it to my clients.
Yeah.
And they totally screwed it up.
Yeah, like, oh, do a disc assessment, and they're like trying to do random things
Right.
and
Like,
put things
get
together.
back to 300 people in real time. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I said, fine. They didn't do it. So then I went to, I put a guy in my garage, literally, and said, okay, I want you to perform this, help my clients recruit. All right.
Yeah.
That was 4 or 5 years ago. Now, today, I have I think 35 people last on the team. We go through 3,000 or 4,000 resumes a week. We have hired 2,000 people in the last year or so. 95% of them worked out. I usually post 400 or 500 job ads a day. So I've learned how to do this very effectively.
Yeah.
And I went through
So,
that. Go ahead.
yeah, no, that's great. So you have a great process of how to do this. In 2020, everyone was facing, hey, I have all this work. I don't have any people to do it, so I can't scale my business, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems that people have is there's so much job opportunities. There's just not enough people to do the jobs. And a lot of times people are spending thousands of dollars on Indeed and they have no idea what they're doing and they're frustrated.
Right.
So one of the big things that I wanted to hit with you is what are the best recruiting steps that you've uncovered through this entire process that you found? Starting from creating a great job ad, it sounds like is where it starts.
Well, I'm going to review these really quickly with you, and
Okay.
then I'll sort of go through them with AI. Okay. So the first is you have to write a great job ad. Keep in mind, this is an ad. It is not a job description. And the purpose of the ad is to get somebody reading this ad to quit the job they're working for and come to work for you. If they're not working, you don't want them.
So yeah, I completely agree. So in there, you would talk about maybe signing bonus or reason why they would switch, that kind of stuff.
It's an ad. It's like you're trying to attract a client. You're trying to attract the same thing when you're trying to attract a, if you're
Customer,
advertising a plumbing company, you just don't say this is what plumbing is. You say why you're a great plumbing company.
Yeah.
When you're attracting somebody an ad, you write an ad that's going to get them to quit who they're working for and come to work for you. And
Great point.
You never have to post this ad everywhere. And that's just not Indeed. We posted on 100 job boards plus LinkedIn. Plus, we posted in 200 places. Okay.
Yeah. So what are some of those other ones, like Career Builder, or are they home service specific ones?
You can I'll ask some home service specific ones, but there's Monster. There's Indeed. Indeed connects to a lot of those. There's ZipRecruiter. There's a bunch of different boards.
So that's a good point. You could ask ChatGPT, hey, what are the top job boards for
it
plumbers?
Will tell you all that. In fact, I'll demonstrate that.
Okay.
So hang on, people listening to this, because I'm going to knock your socks off with AI. Here we go. My favorite thing.
Okay, good.
And then the hardest part about recruiting is we respond to 3,000 people a week in real time. And we have to go through the last 2,000 people we hired. We went through 500,000 resumes.
So are you driving them to a careers page on the website? They fill out a form.
It's called an applicant tracking system.
Okay.
An applicant tracking system is a way of automating this whole process. So when you put it in the ATS, it goes out to all these job boards. And then the minute they respond, we respond in real time, hopefully the real person. So the minute the person clicks, I'm interested, thank you for showing interest in this job. It's sort of like in your business, Phil, time to lead. I mean, when somebody says, I need my roof or I need my plumbing fixed, I've done some statistics. You should be back to them in like less than a minute.
Exactly.
And it drops off. I listened to a guy the other day and he says, after like 30 seconds, it drops off 50%. After a minute, it drops off 50%. After 3 minutes, you're down to like 10% probability, right?
Exactly. And you talk about having a great ad. Well, the person fills out the ad, they're so excited, and then you don't get back to them for a week and they're not excited anymore, and they
We're
lost the
talking
luster.
minutes here.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And that's hard to do unless you've got somebody working with you. I mean, that's what you should do. So the
Yeah.
minute they say, I'm interested, you should respond to them like in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
So you have to have some type of automation or something
You have
in
to have
there.
some automation or a whole bunch of people like we do. I mean, that's where a lot of people, that's why they hire us because they just can't do that.
Exactly.
I mean, we have to go through 300 people to find one person on the average.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're going to put out there for CSRs, you're going to have, 200 people apply and you're going to back to them in real time. It's not going to happen unless you have somebody help you. It's just not.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
So back in real time. And then once you get back to them, you need to do a detailed skills and behavioral assessment. We've got 50 of those we use. I'll know more about than your mom if you take this thing. We would disc profile. We do a lot of psychological testing, integrity. I'll know all about them if they do our assessment. Now, the problem is, how do you get them to take the assessment, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We have somebody has to call them and bug them to do it. Now, if you're looking for a project manager, it's not too tough. But you're looking for a CSR or a sales guy or, a plumber, electrician, roofer, they're not too hot about filling out.
Yeah, of course.
So we have people that do that, but you need to do behavioral assessment because you don't know about them. And
Okay. So hang on one sec. So they fill out the form. Someone contacts them and says, "Hey, a part of our hiring process, we need you to fill out this DISC assessment or something like that." Then when they fill it out, they're kind of moving through the hiring process.
Right.
Okay.
Like later, if you want to, I can show one of those looks like. But it is very detailed. We have what's called a predictive DISC profile. We've given literally 100,000 of these, and we know exactly what the personality needs to be to succeed.
Okay.
And then we do a profile about, we know successful CSRs or roofers or whatever, and we match their psychological profile with that profile and see if they've got the right makeup. So by the assessment, we can tell, do they have the right personality?
Yeah.
Do they have the right intelligence? Because we can measure their intelligence and how smart they are. And the most important, we can measure their integrity. Are they honest? Do they tell the truth? Now, I'm going to ask you an interesting question. This is one of our truth questions, Phil. Okay? So here's the question. Your boss tells you to tell the client the product will be here in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You know it's 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The boss knows it's 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to support your boss and say 2 weeks and lie, or are you going to tell the truth and say 4 weeks? What would you do, Phil?
Yeah. I mean, of course, you're going to do the right thing in that situation, but it can blur the lines because it could go either way, and there's not a exact right or wrong answer.
Unfortunately, if you lie, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because that means your truth telling is conditional.
Yep.
So by asking those kind of questions, we can find out how honest this guy is.
Yeah.
And if he's going to lie about that, he's going to lie about other things. It's going to be a problem. And unfortunately, when you're screening people, you can't tell that stuff in an interview, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, you're completely right. You're completely right. I agree.
An assessment to find out, their integrity skills. So by the time we finish the assessment, we know that they have the right intelligence, high enough integrity, and the right personality to succeed. Now, the next part is you need to do a video interview. Okay. Now, we have that connected to our ATS. So we do video interviews, everybody.
Are you, so y'all are the ones that are pulling up the video, interviewing them via video?
Well, what happens is they can take the video on their phone or a computer. It's not in real time.
Okay. And then do you pair them with the company, or is it your team that's video interviewing them?
Our team, what happens is we have different questions for every job in every company. Mm-hmm. And those are on the video interview. So they click on the video on their phone. They'll say, why do you want this job? How much money are you asking for? What kind of experience you have? And they do a video interview.
I got you.
You can tell stuff in a video interview. You can't find assessment. How old they are, what they look like, what their appearance is, how's their English.
Exactly. How do they speak, the cadence, the inflections.
Tell that in an assessment.
And you can't
So
tell that on a resume just by
no,
looking at
you've
someone's
got to
skill
do a
set.
video interview. But the thing is, if you're doing a video interview, you have to do it in real time, then you don't have to have an appointment. You just send them the link and they do the video interview.
Exactly.
So next you do the video interview. And then after that, you do an in-person interview if they qualify through all those. Then you conduct a background check, which is crucial.
Yeah. So I saw you did background check and reference checks from what I
Reference
heard.
check.
So how does that work? Do they give you references? You just call them like the typical thing?
Well, we have a lot of that automated.
Okay.
So what happens is we can do the reference checks. We send them to give us the people we call it. We do the reference checks. As far as the background checks, there's services. It can cost anywhere from
Yeah.
$20 to $100 to a background check.
Yeah.
Then we call the references, and then we make a competitive job offer. And then you have to ensure some kind of successful onboarding. So that's the whole process.
Yeah. That
Now,
sounds great.
what happens is most construction companies don't do that.
Yeah, of course. I know. I know firsthand. They go to Indeed, they
They throw
post
an ad
something.
in Indeed. They're
Yeah.
desperate. You know, they hire the first one body that shows up, and half the time they don't work out.
Yep.
Now, before I get to the exciting AI part, I want to do a couple of things that get in the way. Okay, can I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
So there's a couple of beliefs that a lot of your people listening to this have. One is only recruit when you need somebody. They look at recruiting like a project, right? And unfortunately, they think I need a CSR, I need a roofer, I need whatever. I'll put an ad in, I'll find the guy, and I'm done.
Yeah.
It is
No.
not a project. It is a process. You
Yeah.
never stop recruiting, just like you never stop marketing, right?
Exactly.
If
I
you're
just
marketing
found
all
this
the
out
time,
actually. We were hiring another consultant for our company, and I had two great candidates, but we could only hire one.
right,
So, but I told the other one, like, hey, in 6 months, we're going to be hiring another one. So
right.
just hold your
Bingo.
horses and like come work with
So
us.
you should have a bench in a perfect world, right?
Exactly. That's what.
Because if you have a bench, if somebody blackmails you, like, give me a raise or I quit, you say bye and hire the new guy, right? So,
Exactly.
but the people you should recruit all the time. The next one I always go through is they think employees are expensive. I can't afford that guy. Well, you can't afford not to hire that guy. Because as far as I know, in this industry, you can't make money without other people.
Exactly. We had a VA, and I don't know, it was like maybe she wanted an additional $600 or something like that. She is so crucial to what we do. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right. It
It's
doesn't.
600
So,
bucks.
it's crazy. So employees are not expensive. They're an
Yeah.
investment, right?
Exactly.
And don't
It's
not
expensive
hire people
not
if
to
you
have
can't
them.
afford them, right?
Yep.
Now, here's another one that I believe, and maybe I'm prejudiced here. Oh, we can do this ourselves. How hard is it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the old who not how mindset
Right.
of what do you
So
do great.
I'm assuming, Phil, you don't fix your own car these days, right?
Yeah, no.
You probably don't do your own accounting.
No.
And if you're smart, you don't do your own marketing. You have help for that, right?
Exactly.
So why do people think they can do their own recruiting? They think, oh, how hard is this? I put an ad in Indeed and hire a guy. And the most important thing in any company is who your employees are and who your clients are. If you've
Yep.
got great employees, you've got a great team, and you've got great clients, it's an easy industry. But if
Yep.
clients suck and your team is marginal, it's really hard.
Yep. All those, you hit the nail on the head. I used to be in the trades and I work with a lot of business owners, and yep, those are all them.
So what you need to do is hire us or somebody, but get somebody who knows what the heck they're doing, because you're
Yeah.
probably not any good at it.
I'll throw myth number 4 in there, is that you can hire people just by placing an Indeed ad, and it's just a transactional thing.
No. It's like, it's like getting married and then trading Tinder for, like, it has some advantages. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a process. You should always be recruiting. The next one that gets in the way for a lot of people is they've got to have experience in the industry. Not true. Who they are is way more important than what they know. You can't fix who they are. You can fix what they know. So a lot of people, like, I use the example of wedding planner, for like what do you call it? Selections coordinator or something. Wedding planners, you think about it, they got a bunch of sort of flaky people together, the band, the venue, all those people together, the right place. It's pretty much like a remodel or working with a constant customer, right? So they have the right talent. They just have to be adjusted in that industry. So just don't switch to the construction.
What do you say about like the trades? Like obviously HVAC tech versus electrical.
HVAC tech. When you're screening HVAC techs,
yeah,
it's more important who they are than what they know. So if you've got somebody that's got 10 years in the industry, but has changed jobs 3 times, he's sort of a flake, versus somebody who has 2 years in the industry, he's a great guy, take the guy with 2 years experience.
I see. Makes sense.
So make sure you're hiring the right person, because you can't fix who they are.
Right.
But you can fix what they know.
Yep.
So it's important that you fire the right person. Next one, this kills everybody. Hire fast, fire slow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
it's a
keep warm
bad
bodies
idea,
because
right?
they can fog a mirror. It's
I mean,
not going to
what
work.
happens? The reason they hire fast, they're not recruiting all the time, right? So they
Exactly.
hire fast and they get the world's worst employee. One's not bad enough to fire, good enough to keep. And they'll kill an organization because you spend a lot of time, Phil, building this company, right? You've got great people, high integrity, and then you're
Yep.
desperate. You need a new HVAC guy or project manager. Bring this person's flaky, right? They show up late. Well, what do you tell the rest of your team? They lie occasionally.
Exactly.
Their integrity's not there. They, aren't kind to the client. They don't
Yep.
treat people well. You just, you screwed your whole company because everybody's gonna look at that person and go, "Oh, we don't need to be this kind of person anymore. We can be this kind of person and still work here."
Yep. Yep.
And so that's why it's really bad to hire fast. And then, people fire slow. Why do they fire slow? Because they can't find anybody else.
Yep.
They don't have a bench. They haven't been recruiting.
They don't
And
have
they've
a
got that,
plan.
and they've got that person. Now, this is key. This is what you can don't take anything away with this podcast, but this, Phil. Anybody that you wouldn't rehire, you should fire.
Yep. I heard you say it before, and I read in a book like, would you hire this person again? Yes or no? No, I wouldn't hire them again. So why are they still on your team?
Right. Fire them. Right.
Yes.
They're still on your team because you haven't been recruiting and you're desperate and it makes life really hard. Right.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with customers on the marketing side.
Right.
Would you work with this customer again? No. So don't work with them.
Don't
Go
work with
find
them.
more
Stop.
customers
Go
that are
find more
quality.
customers. It's just like
Yep.
marketing. So, the truth is you need to hire slow and fire fast.
Yep.
The minute you find somebody's not the right person, you need to let them go.
I think one big part about the firing fast, and I heard this on a podcast, but it's okay to fire fast, but you also need to have those KPIs or those checkpoints to figure out when you should fire someone or not. Like
Right.
the basic fireable offenses, of course, if they always showing up late and all that stuff, but making sure that you have some set expectations is also very important.
Right. That's important to the employee. But
Yeah.
in your gut, that John or Mary, whatever, needs to go.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
and
right.
you go, well, I can't fire because I might get sued, or I might fire because it feels bad or whatever. And they drag on for a long time. You just kill your organization. All right.
Yep.
So that's key. The last myth is recruiting is a project, sort of like the first one. And unfortunately, most people in construction have project brains, right?
Yes.
And they think, okay, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. They look at recruiting. If you're what is it? If you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right?
Yes.
So they take that mentality, they bring it to recruiting. Okay, I need a CSR, I need a plumber, I need a roofer. Project. I'll put an ad in Indeed, blah blah blah. Find the guy, and I'm done. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. It's just like with marketing. People say, "Oh, I need leads. I want leads," and then they go back to spinning the other plate. It's the plates you're spinning this plate and this plate.
They go, well, I want leads. I have one client really. It was a way to find clients. I had meet a bunch of architects. I had a system on how to find new clients, and they quit doing it. And I go, why did you quit doing it? Because it works so well. I mean, what?
Yeah.
And so you market all the time and you recruit all the time. Those are basics in any successful business. I don't care if it's two guys in a truck.
You're right. I agree.
You need to do both of those all the time. And that's what gets in the way. Now, the good news is AI has made this easier. I mean, AI will not answer the phone. We tried to use AI to respond. It's like, nah. We tried to use AI to screen resumes. It's not great. You got to have real people involved. But let me demonstrate to you if I can do that really quick. I'm going to.
Yeah, for sure. So we practiced this before. So Paul's an expert now at sharing on Riverside.
Years, right?
So we'll see.
Okay, did it actually work? Oh my
God,
good. ChatGPT. I'm sure everybody on this has heard about ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
It's like a given thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk to ChatGPT because I cannot, or I have to go to my screen because I have to do here. Okay, I'm going to go back to here, go to here. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to say now, what would be a typical? You want an air conditioning guy? You want a roofer? What kind of business do you want to work with, and where do you want it to be? That would appeal to the most of your people.
Do an electrician in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. So, and what you are is an electrical service business, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, here we go. I can't type, so I have to talk.
Okay.
I'm an electrical service contractor in Orlando, Florida. I need to find an electrician. I need this electrician to quit their job and come to work for me. Can you please write a job ad that's going to be incredibly appealing After you write the job ad, give me a job description. Tell me all the places I should place this job ad and be very specific. And can you also give me KPIs for this position? I want 3 behavioral KPIs as well as 3 um, uh, practice KPIs, performance KPIs. And you are the world's best HR person and you're a really good marketing person. Also, keep in mind, I need a 6-week onboarding plan and give me what to do week by week and be very specific. This is in real time, guys. I have no idea what's going to come up with. Okay, you ready?
This is great.
So it talks about the job ad, right?
Yeah. Why make the move is the first thing,
Yeah.
which is,
Pay, growth,
it goes back to your first thing. It's an ad about
Right.
why they should leave their job.
Paid training about us. We're electric contests out family-oriented professional team.
I just want to note this because I think this is something that's really important is that we know that it's very hard to find qualified people. And it's very rare that you're going to find someone on the street who knows how to be an electrician.
Right.
So you need to create something that's going to attract people that are currently employed. That's the exact thing.
You got to get them to quit their job. It says recruiting for a state licensed electrician with 3 years experience, ability to read blueprints, experience residential commercial, strong knowledge of the local site, what we offer competitive. It even tells you what you should pay the guy, $70,000, $90,000 a year, signing bonus of $5,000, health benefits, paid vacation holidays, work and truck tools provided, growth. So it gives you all that. It gives you the job description, responsibilities, install and maintain electrical systems, blueprints, gives you the responsibilities, qualifications, Florida State electrical license, 3 years relevant experience, strong problem solving skills, gives you the salary. Here's the KPIs, KPIs, teamwork, collaboration, talks about how to do that, customer satisfaction, ability, talks about that, performance KPIs, full-time fixed rate, complete 90% of service calls, project completion time, completes assignments and schedule 80% of the time, safety compliance, where to place a job at. Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Craigslist, local electrician union boards.
And you, Paul, you could probably take this where to place the job ads and just ask for more places, and it would give you more.
Well, you could say here. Well, let me get down to that. Okay, 6 week
All right.
orientation plan. It talks about go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Okay, and if you don't like this, you can say, okay, I'll do this. Give me a second. It would put. Hold on. I'm trying to get my computer work or something.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Can you give me 10 more places to put the job ad and be very specific and make sure they're going to work and tell me where and how to place them?
Ten more places to put the job. Yeah, that's good. And how to place it and why it works. Yeah.
And it goes like Orlando Sentinel Jobs, Orlando Craigslist.
Yeah, because it knows the specific area.
Career Builder, tradeschools.net, right? Electrical Talk Forum.
So your team would go in and place these jobs in these places?
Yeah, if we need to, we will.
Yeah.
So Angie's List Pro Services.
You mentioned this.
This is
Sorry.
a great tool.
Yo, this is amazing. Like the way that you put this together, I don't think people ever think to use it in this way. It's all, write this email for me or whatever. What's this ATS thing that you mentioned before?
Okay, the applicant tracking system. This is an experiment here, guys. I'm going to show you our ATS. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put, let's see. Did that change the screen for you or do I have to come up with a new screen?
Yeah, no, I see it.
Can you see the ATS?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, I'm going to put our ATS. Contractor staffing source. Click on that. So this is an applicant tracking system, all right?
Okay. Oh, ATS, applicant tracking system.
So if you see the applicant tracking system, all the jobs come in here, how long they've run, how many candidates we've got, and that kind of thing. So this is what everything comes into. And then we can take a sample. Now I changed the sample. I think I have to change screens. My guess is it will not. Did it change the same screen?
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Okay, cool. And then you go to, I'll show you a sample, one of the guys that we hired. Okay, if I click on the sample here, it goes to, this is Carl, okay? So if I click on Carl like this, it goes to, this is what the inside of the ATS looks like, right?
I
so
got you.
it will have his, eventually we'll load his resume, all the correspondence, everything regarding Carl's in here. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
And then you
It's
can go to, I'm going to go to assessments. All right. So I click on assessments. I'm going to go to his assessment. So I click on his assessment. And this is the kind of assessment you need to use. All right. Um, you go to the assessment. It's a load. It may take a minute to do this. And this is we've had 20 years invested in this tool. We didn't spend the 20 years, but other people did to get one that works. So once this loads, which it'll talk about personality of position, behavioral type, personality, reckoning the personality, attitude, competency. We use about 100 algorithms to get to this. And anything over 30 is good. He's 59, so he's a top performer. And then we go through things like, did he take the assessment properly? And this is what it's called a DISC profile, Phil. And
Yep.
this is a regular DISC profile, which has analyzer. But the cool part is we do a predictive DISC profile, which we've done hundreds of thousands of these. And we know in this position what his personality needs to look like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So organization, attention, detail, this doesn't matter for this specific position. Now, obviously, if you're a project manager, these gray lines of power, they need to be between the gray lines and everything that matters, right? Like here.
Yes.
And then we go to assertive matters, competitive doesn't, confront people. So empathy doesn't matter, patience matters, appreciation matters, listening matters, cold calling, calling skills. So he scored well and everywhere he needs to score well in this assessment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
So
makes
he know he
sense.
has the right personality to do this job.
So if I'm understanding you right, you build the job ad, you post a job ad where it needs to go. People are applying, they come into this system. Then it's more of a manual process to kind of filter things down
Then
and
we got
reach
to
out.
send them the assessment if it makes sense, right?
Yep.
So
And
we have to
then
go through the average of 300 resumes to get one person. That's the average.
exactly. And then once you get all of the data into a dashboard like this, then you would turn over the candidates
Right.
to the contract.
What happens next is that in our system, they get 4 people on a team. They get a pipeline scanner, an administrative assistant that makes sure that the applicants do what they're supposed to. They have an assistant, and you get a specialist, which is like a part-time HR person. So what happens if we look at his integrity and attitude? Critical, negative, low is good, high is bad. So he did well in everything because he's low. If you
Yeah.
click on any of these, like dishonesty, it'll tell you what it is, what is not, and that comes with a question I asked you earlier, like how important to support your
Yeah.
boss. And so by the time we finish this part, we have another personality and the integrity. And then it also goes down to things like motivation, communication, analytical intelligence, talks about overall, I did fine. Things like, humility, confidence, fear. I mean, I'll know more than your mom. You take this thing.
Yeah.
Control
Yeah.
people. And we go logic, traits like discernment, draw conclusions, and usual logic. So by the time we're done with this, we pretty much know he has the right personality and the right intelligence and the right, integrity to
Yeah.
the job. There's some things we can't tell, right? So we
Yeah.
go to this is a video interview, right? This is what the video interview changes with every company and every candidate. So if we go to
Okay.
his video
So,
answers, go
hey,
ahead.
Paul, real quick. So, is this something where you would kind of build this with the business to say, hey, what it matters to you, or how does it change?
Well, what happens is they help us figure out what interview questions they want to ask. Obviously, interview questions for a sales guy or a CSR are different from a roofer or a
Yeah.
plumber, right?
Yeah.
So we change the questions depending on each person, and then I do I'll show you this guy's video interview just to give you an idea. The question was, why would you work for us?
Yeah. We're probably not going to be able to hear it. So,
So the point is,
but
you can
I
see
get
who
what you're
they
saying.
are, you can see what they talk like, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So between the assessment, the video interview, and all of that, you get a pretty good idea that he's the right guy for the job, right?
Definitely.
That's
And
why the
clearly,
last 2,000 people we hired, 95% of them worked out.
that's right. And the thing that I really like about using this type of process is on Indeed, people are just hitting apply, 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 apply. Then you're trying to chase them down. And are they serious? Are they not? After they've gone through this, they're pretty serious if they did a video interview and did a disc assessment and all that stuff. Like they're
Right.
serious about making a change.
Right. And you know who they are as a person. And I'll tell you, I've done this for years. Every time we go against the assessment, we're wrong. Like,
Yeah.
he's my brother-in-law. I know this guy, blah, blah, blah. And we go, look at his score here is just terrible. He's not going to work out. And they go, no, no. And they hire him and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So again,
To me, it's kind of like marketing. Like when you get that customer on the phone, they already have some plans drawn up. They already kind of have an idea of what carpet that they want or whatever. And it's like they're like ready to roll and they got their stuff together and they're an ideal customer that you would want to work with. You're getting to that point instead of having to fight through all this stuff as a
Right. If
contractor.
you have somebody calls up says, "I'm calling 6 contractors, you're the sixth one. Please give
Yeah,
me a
yeah,
bid." Right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly,
don't bother. Right?
exactly.
So it's the same kind of thing. If there's a system, you can use AI to do it. I mean, I showed you here how you can do it yourself, but I really think that most small companies don't have the time and the energy to put what they need to put into this to make it work.
Exactly. And I think we're similar in that like my company, we're kind of like fractional marketing company for 1 to 10 million in revenue where it's very similar where most companies don't have a HR hiring process in
Right.
place where they would hire your company to run this on a monthly basis and this is firing, they building a bench of people, they're getting good quality candidates coming in so they're not scared to let go of the bad people.
Right. And also, we can do like the KPIs for the current employees and that kind of thing. So, I mean, most small companies just aren't really good at HR, just
Yeah,
like they're not
yeah.
good at marketing. It just, they don't have the resources, right?
Yeah.
And so hiring a fractional HR company makes a lot of sense. We can work for as low as $1,500 a month. We can hire, 5 positions any one time. And when you think about that's not much money given how important people are.
Yeah. And also for business owners to have the flexibility to feel confident to let someone go that's a bad apple,
Right.
to know that you only have to spend whatever X amount of dollars and you're going to have more leads coming in every single month with new candidates.
Well, it's sort of like I'm sure you have clients, Phil, that you've marketed for that they've been taking clients they shouldn't take
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
don't have enough clients, right? So somebody
Exactly.
calls up and says, "You're the fourth bid, give me a bid," and they go, "Fine,"
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
Because they
Yep.
haven't got anybody else to talk to.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, I mean, this has been great. I really appreciate you sharing your screen and diving deep. I'm the same way. Like on our YouTube channel, I share so much stuff, and it's very rare to find people that are open book and just want to help people. And if it makes sense to work together, great. If not, here's kind of the
Right.
tools that I would use, and I really appreciate that about you. Where should people go to get in touch with you and learn more about?
Well, I would go to contractorstaffingsource.com. They
Hmm.
can, my personal email is paul@paulsanneman.com. They can book a meeting with me and I'll be happy. I mean, I still do all the sales of the company, and we have about 300 clients right now between a million and probably 20 million that we recruit for. And so I will talk to them personally about whether it makes sense for them or not. Is it worth spending the money? Who are they looking for? What is their current process? I'll show them how to do it themselves if they want to,
Yeah,
or they can have us do it for them. It's sort of like, here's the cookbook. If you don't want a chef, have fun, right?
yeah. We're the same model. We give the recipe, sell the cooking, and it's
Right.
if you
And it's the
go
same
for
kind
it.
of thing. So, um, I mean, we have a really good track record of helping people. So it's just like you. So if somebody is having a hard time finding quality people, we definitely have the solution.
Yeah.
And so, one phone call or one click on the thing, and I'll be happy to sit down with them and talk about how they can do it themselves or have us help them.
Awesome. Well, Paul, this has been great. I can't wait to share this with people because we get this question all the time. So this is going to be a great video to share. So thanks so much for joining and look forward to
Having me.
continuing the relationship.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Absolutely.